Hey friends, today I want to talk to you about my experience with Java mock interview. This video is really special to me because I am going to discuss some important topic with you. Before making this video, I was worried about if it was good idea for my YouTube channel. I teach Java and I was afraid this video might hurt my image in front of my audience. But then I realized that everyone talk about success, but nobody wants to discuss failure. I believe failure is more important than success because it teaches us what not to do and reveals the dangers along the path to success. First, I'll share my interview experience and then we'll talk about how I deal with it. Let's get started. So, first question comes to me. Can you give your intro yourself? So I have given my intro, whatever I have a 15 years experience in all the start to end journey to the interviewer. Then he asked me the second question, tell me what is abstraction in Java and how would implement in Java. And I have given a simple example, just simple answer to him. Abstraction is one of the principle of OOPS. That abstraction will hide the internal implementation, and the very famous example I have given him like car where we will have a start button break as a abstraction and internal implementation is hidden. And I told him we will achieve this using the interface in Java. Then he asked me to write the code. So I have written this code as you can see here. First, you can see I just define the interface. Here I define the interface and I just created one method here. And then just simply here I implemented this interface and implemented display method. Then I created a client and static main methods there. And simply here I just created object of this class and here I'm calling the display method. So after doing this, she told me, yeah, this is okay. But where is the abstraction? So I'm very confused what he's asking to me because I have written all the code here. Whatever is required, I implemented the interface and everything. Then he just tried to get me on the point where I am doing the wrong. So first I am unable to understand. Then he told me we will discuss it later. But I will tell you right now where is the problem in this code. As you can see here, the biggest mistake I did here, first thing I have written the implement I capital and he was expecting me to remember this all small basic spelling and that we will normally just using the ID, we don't think about it. So that's why I'm just sharing this to you. The small things can just fail your interviews. So first mistake I did here, I have to make this I small. And the second thing is just told me where is the abstraction because what I did, I just use this type, class type instead of the interface. I should write this display interface instead of this simple class name. Because of that, the complete line of code is failed. So this is the mistake I did in this and I accepted it. The next question asked me, tell me the significance of static keyword in Java. So I explain in like a static keyword, whenever we will use it, it belongs to the class and whenever we want to access it, we can directly access using the class. So after given this answer, he is satisfied with me and you can see answer is here. I will share with you this PDF. You can download this PDF from the description of this video and read about it. So just I want to share you the quick what is my experience with the interviewer and what is my thought process that time. The fourth question he asked me, can you write a sample code for this and increment the count? So again, he asked me to write the code and I have written the code as you can see here. This is a static class I have created and I have defined the static variable here that is 0 and then get number to get. So getter and setter, I already defined here for getter And here I created one method increment, which is incrementing this number. So this looks fine to me. And whenever just here I came in the client and I created a main method and just I called it increment number 3 and he told me just write it down again. Okay. So this code looks okay, but there is a slight mistake I did, and normally we will forget it because we know theoretical very well, but whenever we comes in the coding, and especially whenever we are coding on the notepad, that time we forget the small thing, and that might fail our result. If I was on the uh, code editor, that time I think this mistake the code editor grave and tells me. But because I was on the notepad, that's why I unable to find that problem. And maybe you also find the problem. Where is the problem? So I will tell you. So after showing this code, he asked me a question: how much it will return? And I answer him. I told him it's 6, which was correct because the static method called twice every time, and I'm calling the static method its value is final and adding 3 on it. So first, whenever I'm calling it, that time it is 3. Then next time I'm calling it, next time it is 3 plus 3, 6. It told logically it's fine, but compile this code, there is some issue in the code. So where is the slight mistake I did? That is this dot. Because as you know, whenever we are creating a static method, that time we will not call this. This is call only for the instance. And because we have a static method, so we cannot instantiate it. So we have to call directly number instead of the this dot number. Okay. So this is the small mistake I did. Same thing you can see here. I'm passing the return dot this dot number and this dot number. This slight two mistakes completely make my code wrong. So these are the very small things which we always forget. So that's why I thought I'd come up with this video. And whenever you are attempting the mock interview or any interview, so you also be aware of these small mistakes and you can get success on the interview. The question 5, he asked me, tell me the difference between runnable and callable. So as we know, I told him runnable and callable is both are the interfaces and both are used for the threading. So what is the difference between both of them? The runnable has the run method and callable has the call method. Apart from this, whenever we have to start the task, that time we will use the run method. Okay, we will call the runnable. And whenever we have to call or execute the task, that time we will use the call. And after executing, it will return us the value. So this is the simple description I have given him. And he was happy with this. But the question 6, he asked me write the code using 2 threads. Only thread 1 should print odd number and thread 2 will print even number. Okay. So I have written this code here. Public class print number task implement runnable. And then I written override, if you can see, because the typing mistakes everywhere. I did many because normally we have a habit of ID and he just want to explain me don't use the ID all over the interview. He just pointed out me where is the problem whenever we are using the ID. So as you can see, it is the override, not overwrite. I have written overwrite. So I've written all the code, whatever exit code I have written in front of them. Okay. So you also know what mistake I did and you just keep in mind. You don't have to do that. Okay. Now you can see I just written the public void run num system out print num. Simply I just written this run task is there. Okay. So I implemented runnable and same mistake I did here also. The I should be small, not capital. Okay. And I have written the task inside of this. And then I simply call the thread, extend the thread. And in the main method, I created one thread, new thread. And here I'm just calling for, okay, and inside of that I am calling this new print task and t1 dot start task. Same thing here I'm creating two. So my assumption was this: whenever I will create this thread and I'm calling here, so it's I was confused in the thread thread pool. Okay, so I thought it will only run the task, but he explained me This is the wrong because he just told me to write only 2 threads. And whenever I'm writing the thread, every time it will restart this thread. So this is the wrong solution because this for loop should be inside of this task. And here I just simply call the new thread and have to pass the task. So these are the code I have written, and the small mistake I have did here. Maybe it look like a small, but because of this, the program will not run. The right code is here. You can see I checked later on using the lambda function. He was expecting me to write the code like this. So here you can see I have written in the main simply thread T1 equals to new thread. Inside of the thread, I have written the lambda function. As you know, the lambda function I already explained in my Java uh, series. Okay, whenever I explain you path of Java video 1 and video 2, please see that you will understand what is the lambda function, and I will attach that video on the in the I button on the top, so you can go and check what is the lambda function. Based on the lambda function, it is the same whatever I'm just defining the task here instead of in the new class. Save in the 2. So you can see thread 1 and thread 2. So on the thread 1, I'm creating for the E1, and here I'm creating a odd, and on thread 2, I'm creating here E1. Then T1, T2 will start. So this is the right code which should I read, write, but I have did a mistake and I created multiple thread instead of one. So next question, number 7, it told me, tell me the internal working of hash map in Java. So whenever we are just reading about the collections, we just simply read about their functionality, but sometimes question might come, what is the internal hash map? And I was very confident on it, and then I have given the answer of it also. So I have given hash map saves the key value pair, and whenever it will store all the nodes because hash map has a node, okay, and it will create a bucket of array and save all the node inside of that arrays bucket, okay, and every node has the 4 things, okay. First is the hash code, then next is the key, and next third is the value, and fourth is just take a reference, save a reference of next element, okay, and it will provide the value by the key and it not get set. So I explained him, he was agree with me, and he told me, yeah, you have an idea. But suddenly he asked me a very complex question. I thought, because very internally I don't know what he's thinking about me, because I'm like not a most experienced. Is whatever question is asking, it's like experienced pupil. And this was the mock interview. So he asked me how HashMap generate hash code. That time I'm just little stuck, and I thought, what is asking to me? Because this is very internal. And normally we don't read, but yeah, I told him, no, I don't know because that much detail, because whatever I know, I already explaining. So he agree, yeah, because that is very advanced question. So you can skip. So I skip this question. So question 9, he asked me, tell me the difference between comparable and comparator in Java. So as we know, comparable and comparator, normally we will use for the shortings. Okay, whenever we have to short the data, that time we will use. So I explain him why we use the comparable. So comparable we will use whenever we required a custom natural shorting. Like whenever we short any class, that time it will, if there is a simply like a number or there is a string, it has a mechanism to short it. But if it is an object, it do not have any mechanism. Okay. So that time we will use the comparable and comparator both are the interfaces. So comparable is expose the method compare to, which we will implement in the class, and we will define the custom sorting functionality to any class. Okay. So this is the natural ordering we will define him. And there is another thing is like a comparator. So comparator will give us two multiple way of sorting the information. Okay, like if you using the comparable, there is only one natural ordering we already given, that is the default sorting. But in the comparator is also interface. It will provide you the comparator method, which we will pass in the sorting function. Okay, and we will sort. So we can create a multiple sorts, different sorting algorithm with this comparator. So I explained, then again he asked me the question number 10, write the code for the descending sort. And I have written here, as you can see, collection.sort, because he told me to use the list. So I'm using, because we know if we are using for the list, so we have to use the collection. If we are using for the array, we have to use directly sort. So I use the collection.sort number list, and I have given our lambda function inside of this. This is a shorter way because we have seen the big class and function where we are using the anonymous class and we are passing inside of this. But here I'm just write it in the single line where I'm just showing you the lambda function where we have a num1, num2, and because he told me to write the descending, so I make it to num2 minus num1. This is the very shorter form of this comparator. Okay. So the next question he asked me, write the code for the streams which will return the odd numbers. So he just directly told me to write the code. So I thought first I will explain you, then I will write the code. So I explained him what is the stream. So stream is nothing. It will give us facility to functional programming inside of Java. By nature, it is lazy loading. Okay, whenever we are just we have to use the filter map. We will use the stream, and there is a terminal function. So whenever we are applying the terminal function, that time it will return the data. Otherwise, it will not return the data. It will always return us the streams. Okay, so I explained everything about the stream in detail, and he was agree with that. Then I have written the code like number list dot stream dot filter, and here also in the filter I am using the lambda function. Okay, so as you can see in num and the modulus 2 not equals to 0, it will return me the odd numbers. Okay, and I just apply the terminal function for each. Inside again I given one more lambda function where I just iterate the item and system.out.print, and it will print the item. Okay. So as you can see here, I use the terminator function. If I'm not use the terminate function, then it will not return me or not printing anything. Till then I'm not using that. Okay. So this is the streams, and this code looks okay. I was little struggle for this for each function because I forget the syntax of that, and he was expecting me to remember the everything. So that's why my whatever my experience with the interviewer, just he feels there is I have a short knowledge of it, but because I just explain him theoretically properly and I've written the code, so I was expecting he also understand little bit because I am the starting of this phase. Then he asked me the question number 12, tell me the uses of keyword final, finally, and finalize. And I have given the answer, and he was very satisfied with me, because whenever we are using the final we will use whenever we do not want to change any value. Okay, that time we normally use. And whenever we use final with the class, so we cannot create a subclass of that class. This is the first final difference. Finally, normally we will use whenever we use the try catch block. Okay. And the third block is the finally. So even there is a error or there is no error, it will always run. There is only one case which time it will not. It is very important. Okay. Because many interviewer ask you why you are saying it is always run. But what is the situation or what is the circumstances when it will not run? So there is a one like whenever you are writing, there is some error in the try block and your program is terminated before reaching to the this finally block, then that time this finally will not work. That only one condition is there, rest all condition this will work. The third thing is finalize. So as we know, the finalize is used for the garbage collector. So whenever we want to tell something, we want to show the garbage collector our class. Okay, so that time we will use it, but normally it is avoided because it will not work always, and it is recommended to don't use because of the performance issue. So this three is look like final, finally, and finalize is the same, but the three has the different meaning. Okay. Then after doing this all things, he has given me the feedback. My interviewer name is Mani Vanam. He is from the Amazon, and he was working last 8 years in the Amazon. And I think he was very experienced guy, and he knows all the code by heart. And he was expecting me to also be by heart all the code. That's why. That's why I feel somewhere okay, like because normally we will use the IDE. That time we don't write all the code. Okay, and that is only the problem where I did the mistakes. Okay. So he just given me a feedback. You are good in the theory, but theory doesn't matter in company. Practical is very important, and you have to more practice on code because this is just a mock interview. Do not get demotivated and keep practicing more. And I'm rejecting you. Keep practicing without ID so you remember syntax. And final result, he has given me a weak result. Yes. So now, as you can see here, the weak result. Okay. So as we discussed first of the video, okay, I want to discuss with you, and there is some failure which people is not accepting. So I thought I should accept the failure, and I come in front of you and tells you what is my experience and what I learned from here. So when I don't get clear this mock interview, I feel frustrated. I thought I knew many things and worked hard. So why did I fail? Even though I attempt almost 12 questions with 5 codes written. I discussed this with my family and I was very upset. I sent email to the interviewer and raised the support ticket, re-evaluate because I also have a 15 years of experience and I attempted the interview very well with some mistake in code. That is fine, I guess. Then I decided to keep quiet and slept. In the morning, next day, I thought about it again because I couldn't accept this failure. Then I realized that all my actions were because of my ego in the last night. And I realized that if I want to get hired by a big company, I have to take this failure as a challenge. So I started writing code as much as possible and specifically basic syntax without using the IDE to remember it. Now I'm focused on writing code and preparing for a reattempt. I made this video to discuss with you, and it was a big learning experience. If we let our ego and demotivation control us when we fail, we'll only feel frustration. Instead, we have to start again, learn from our mistakes and keep going. If you are motivated by this video and feel the same when you fail in the mock interview or any situation in life, please let me know by commenting on this video. If you learn anything from this video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.